Right, I think we are live. After a while, I guess. I'm not sure how long. Right, perfect. Let me get my terminal up there as well. Sorry. Cool. So I spent the past few days. Let's just go to the sheet. I spent the past few days, if you can read this, mostly working on the multiprocessing module. So studied pretty much all of its contents. Okay. I think I ended on a very brief detour on logging. I don't know why they covered logging that briefly and that abruptly in that section, but they did. कुछ समझ नहीं आया, मतलब समझ नहीं आया ऐसा नहीं है, बट लाइक कुछ यूज़फुल पढ़ा ऐसा नहीं लग रहा है बेसिकली. सो या दैट वाज इट. उसके पहले व्हाट ऑल वी लर्नड वाज या वी sort of got into listeners and clients. Listeners and clients are important because it's kind of a first step towards IPC when it comes to processes which do not have the same parent. So you could be talking about processes which are on entirely different machines also, finding a way to communicate with each other. So that is where the concept of message brokers and messaging libraries such as ZeroMQ, RabbitMQ, and Redis. So that's where they sort of thrive. तो वो पढ़ा. उसके पहले मल्टी प्रोसेसिंग मैनेजर्स का पढ़ा. मल्टी प्रोसेसिंग मैनेजर्स करेक्ट. फिर वो नेम स्पेसेस का वगैरह कंसेप्ट आता है. बट इट्स प्रीटी फन. आई एम नॉट श्योर हाउ आई कैन मतलब बिल्ड विद दैट until I see an example of it. बट या पढ़ा उसके बारे में. मल्टी प्रोसेसिंग मैनेजर्स. उसके पहले वी लर्नड अबाउट पाइप्स. I was encouraged to use the pipes implementation from the multiprocessing module and not from the OS module because the OS module is operating system specific basically. तो fork based अगर तेरे processes हैं तो it's going to behave a little differently, and अगर spawn based है तो it's going to work differently. So always just choose the multiprocessing module. Even though it is थोड़ा सा more abstracted, prefer using that. तो वो पढ़ लिया. पाइप्स का पढ़ लिया. मल्टीप्रोसेसिंग मैनेजर्स का पढ़ लिया. उसके पहले पहले नहीं एक्चुअली बीच में ही दे sort of got into how we can use queues for communication between processes, and that is something that हाँ यार बाद में देखते हैं. Some issue from work. What was I talking about? Right. I talked about queues. So when I had covered multi-threading and communication between threads, तो उसमें I had covered how you can propagate is the right word, okay, propagate exceptions or all sorts of messages from child threads to parent threads. You do that using a queue. So good chance you're going to have to inherit from the actual multi-threading module का जो thread implementation है उसके बाद you will have to what's the fucking word for it? You'll have to subclass it. Subclass is the word, I guess. Fuck, this is bad. I should know this. तो मतलब you should subclass it and उसमें then you just add your own queue object as part of every नहीं, not as part of every object, as a class attribute, maybe that would be better. So when you add it as a class attribute, then everybody gets access to that queue. You can propagate messages via it. I think that's how they did it. तो हाँ, processes में वही same फंडा just repeat हुआ. So yeah, did that. A lot of it मतलब went by in a whiz sort of, and see, I understood all that was taught in the textbook, but what I'm a little concerned about is how I'll be able to apply this in real life. Like, what will the first time that I apply these concepts IRL is going to be like? Will I just remember कि हाँ I can do this, or will I have to go through a bunch of code examples to understand what to do, or maybe will I have to already see it being used in practice, because that will take too long I feel. So that is something I'm थोड़ा सा confused about कि होगा कैसे वो. Of course that doesn't mean that I shouldn't study all this. I definitely should. So this is definitely a step in the right direction, but yeah, I was left thinking about that. Maybe I can just go to that Grefala site and try to look for code examples of whatever concepts that I learned. Sounds sort of tedious, but maybe I can do it. But yeah, I think the best way would be just seeing it in action and then understanding how to use it again. That sounds like the best way of doing it. I won't wait until then. I'll try to get comfortable using it myself, create my own opportunities, so to speak. तो या वो कर लेंगे. हाँ, तो वो सब करने के बाद what happened is I have finally finished the multiprocessing module and we are on event-driven programming now, the good stuff. I had covered a very small bit of it पहले. I had got bored of the multiprocessing module वाला chapter and decided to just read this through थोड़ा सा. तो पसंद आ गया मेरे को whatever I saw so far, but still just for completion's sake I'll just start from the very beginning यहाँ पे. तो yeah, let's do this. Chalo, I'll get to studying now. I'll try to do it until 9. So yeah. Async IO. Event-driven programming. What is it and how does it work? The async IO module in depth, the debugging async IO based programs, the twisted event-driven networking engine, should be enough to get you up and running and create your own event-driven systems in Python. Defend. Event-driven programs are very different from the Python applications that have got so used that we have got so used to writing. Yeah. deterministic approach. An example of this would be an event-driven program that listens to keyboard input. We have no way of determining what input will be pressed next, but we will have a certain function mapped to the said key when our program receives this key press event. During this wait state, we are constantly listening for events. During this wait state, theoretically infinite. Systems such as operating systems. If we had to write an operating system in a procedural manner, then you would typically see an incredibly hard to follow code base that resembles an Italian specialty in the form of spaghetti code, as opposed to a well designed system. By leveraging an event driven paradigm for our systems, we greatly simplify our overall program structure, make it easier to increase its functionality or debug any issues in the future. Let's take the async IO event loop as an example. In this event loop, we can register, execute, and cancel calls, launch subprocesses, and the associated transports for communication. Essentially, all an event loop does is wait for events to happen for matching each event to a function that we have explicitly matched with the said type of event. A good example of this would be, oh god, let's say we have an endpoint on a server that serves our website. Our event loop essentially listens for requests to be made and then matches each of these requests with associated web page. Each of the requests made to our web server in the preceding example would be considered a separate event. Each of the requests made to our web server in the preceding example would be considered a separate event. Each of the requests made to our web server. Yeah, correct. These events are then matched to a set function that we predefine whenever a set event is triggered. These events are then matched to a set function that we predefine. Yeah, makes sense. Async I was introduced Python programming 3.4. And provides us with an array of synchronization primitives that allow us to write thread-safe programs with relative ease. Within the module, we have a number of distinct concepts as follows: the event loop, futures, coroutines, tasks, transpose protocols. Futures का पता है मेरे को. Coroutines, tasks. I'm not sure what you're meaning by tasks over here. Transports protocols. Okay, transport एक word है. So that was मतलब वो दिमाग के ऊपर से क्या करें. Each of these concepts serve their own distinct purpose that can be intertwined to create readable, highly performant Python programs. Async IO module features a wealth of different So you're teaching me async IO basics at least उसके. I think I like what you're doing over here. मतलब I want this. चलो let's तो दी. Event-driven programming. which returns an async IO event loop. Then run this loop. Oh no. Okay. I was scared about the wire unplugging over there. Sorry. But for now, it's important to know that these coroutines are essentially functions designed for concurrent execution within async IO. We'll be covering coroutines in greater detail later on in this chapter, but for now it's test that by कहाँ पे है वो फंक्शन गेट इवेंट ओके है ना लूप ओके सी हो क्या रहा है loop is equal to async IO dot get event loop is equal to loop dot run until complete with my coroutine and then loop dot close. So I ran it, there is no current event loop. Okay, I need to get this checked. Got this output for my program on test.py. Can you fix it? Async IO run async IO dot get event loop was deprecated in Python 3.10 plus when no current event loop exists. Please. Shit. Okay. All right. The thing is that the author used this example for me to understand what loop is and what the get event loop function does. Is that older snippet of code better from a pedagogy perspective? The deprecation warning is harmless for learning purposes. Yeah, let's stick to this. Okay, fine. Loop is equal to get event loop. Um, run until complete. Run the event loop until a future is done. My coroutine loop dot close. What does it do? Now that we have created, let me just fucking better. Seat बहुत नीचे थी. Now that we have created our own simple event loop based program, some of the possible methods associated with this. Oh, I see. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Perfect. forever. Oh god, this hurts. I might have to make another exit. I don't know what the fuck a coroutine is, first of all. But you have promised me that you're going to teach me that. So I'm being patient right now. Oh my mum. Shit, bhai. हाँ दया करके विशेष ना थोड्यांक येता तूं जोता रायचो
कालची सगळी सुकोवया तें दाळ आसा भेंड्या भाजी आसा
चलता
आनी तातूंत उकडलें
Alright, let's continue. Think I would what? What's going on? Run forever X. It's थोड़ा outdated वाले this book. नहीं, I'm checking because it's like a lot of the syntax outdated. कितना पुराना है यार ये book? Ah man. I wanted to study this. I think it's best I ask a lot right now. I'm studying a book on concurrency in Python programs, and it has a chapter that is devoted to event driven programming. What it teaches after covering the basic concepts of event driven programming is teach me about how to use the async IO module from Python. What I wanted to confirm is whether the syntax and the concepts regarding async IO that have been taught in this chapter are outdated or not. Here is the contents page of the entire chapter. Have a look at it and tell me whether I should continue studying this or it's best to shift to a more up to date book that teaches async IO. being a little. Oh, Manning. Nice. La 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 la. Not nice. Just cover it in my own profile. How many how many pages? अरे पेजेस कितने हैं लेकिन? हाँ यार मतलब डोंट वेस्ट योर टाइम, जस्ट गो. पेजेस क्यों नहीं बताते आप लोग यार? टेल टोटल पेजेस में फकर्स. So, 376. Stupid. How much did it say? It's a big book though. I'm scared now. It is worth it. But then I do not want to break up with this book. Yeah, I had hopes. slow. I think we have hit a very big roadblock. Did I change the page number? Dude, what the hell? I think I was on 246. It was good, but it lasted, dude. uh, feel थोड़ा sad about it. अभी डाउनलोड ही नहीं हो रहा है यार, कितना टाइम ले रहा है. Khair, I think we have hit a very weird roadblock over here. This might be the last I study from this book. Feels weird because I've spent quite a bit of time with it. It was a very weird book. Like, the fucking text was not proofread. A lot of the code did not just work straight up. Poorly indented, very very bad in a lot of ways. But it taught me things, so I respect it. It's like this toxic parent. Okay, so ये हो गया मेरा I think I'm moving to that async iWork. Let me just have a look at it. Let's see. Let's gauge how big of a task is it. It is. वो होने के बाद मेरे को वो भी कॉपी करना था, सॉरी कवर करना था अबाउट APIs. But yeah, I think, I don't know. Let's see. A lot relies on what that book is like. If it is something I can cover in like a month, maybe, then I might go with it. Otherwise, seems like too long a time. Chalo, I'll take a break, get a shower and all, and then I'll continue. Alright, bye bye bye. Bye.